Every year, thousands of people from all walks of life become severely disabled at birth or as the result of an accident or illness. Many individuals who are disabled possess skills and the motivation to engage in productive employment. Supported employment is an effective program that provides job opportunities in community settings for persons with severe disabilities. Through supported employment programs, employers receive assistance from a job coach to match work tasks with the skills of the individual. In the next 15 minutes, you will meet those who have met the challenge of supported employment. This is what one employer has to say about supported employment.
It's a good answer to finding good help. It's a good answer to helping people who need help. And it's a community service as well as getting the job done, you know, the kind of job we like.
From manufacturing to retail trade to service industries, virtually any employer can offer supported employment opportunities. Supported employment opportunities may include full or part-time work from 1 to 40 hours a week, job sharing, duties that fall outside already defined positions.
We took a position of a janitor, and it was basically listed out as a 2-hour time length, and that was previous to any supported employment person doing it. Now we have 2 supported employment people doing that job. One does it in 3 hours, and one does it in an hour and a half. So it's been modified both ways. The person who does it in 3 hours does need to have things listed out as reminders, and he does sometimes need to be reminded to do these things. But the job time, one does it in less time and one does it in a little more, so it's the same time lapse that you had set up for it in the beginning.
I do janitorial and I do dishwashing, things that makes me move and sweat and earn my money and stuff like that, because I'm proud of who I am.
The restaurant industry tends to hire a large majority of like younger people, and for persons with disabilities, it's a perfect place to start if, you know, use it as a stepping stone for something else.
I love to be a waiter, and then also, you know, it's just like you start from the bottom and work way to the top.
You're looking for someone to fill a position, and you're looking for a reliable employee, one that hopefully will have some longevity.
Sometimes, finding just the right match between skills and expectations is a process of trial and error.
In every other job I have held, well, I was injured 10 years ago, and every job I have had since my injury, after like 3 months, the employers would just start to expect me to behave quote-unquote normally.
When Brenda first came to work for us, I found that we had a tendency to start out with a fairly large job scope, and that as we let's say that we were working with a 4-hour time period, and we would find something that she couldn't do well, so we would reduce it down to 3 hours, and then we'd find another thing that she couldn't do well and reduce it to 2 hours, and the tendency, and she said that this was with, you know, previous employment that she'd had too. The tendency is to say, well, I can do that faster or better, usually faster, not necessarily better, but I can do that faster. I'll go ahead and do it, and Brenda, you know, don't worry about that. And I found that it was a very rewarding challenge to keep trying to find other things that Brenda could do, and we did. And so we fought that tendency to narrow her scope, and sure, I wish we had more work we could give her, because she's capable of doing a lot more than we can use her for.
and get this all ready just so we can build it.
When Jason first started working for us, we really kept him pretty well supervised, but I have found that he really has a creative side, and it's wonderful just to turn him loose and let him do whatever comes to his mind. He loves to do the windows and spends a lot of time doing windows and display work, but he's also just really handy to have around. He does a lot of things that I can never get to. He'll do KP or janitor services or whatever we need, and he's just really a joy. Now he's looking for employment at some of the other stores, wanting to do the same type of thing that he's doing, but just really enjoying fashion. And
Employers who participate in supported employment programs are provided job analysis and suggested worksite modifications, matching of individual skills to jobs, skilled trainers or job coaches who accompany the individual to the worksite for intensive training, regular follow-up contacts and problem-solving assistance. Other services needed to sustain work performance and employment.
If the employer simply wants an on-the-job training or something like that, I think they should just do job service. What we try to do is actually match the person. You and I, with the people we work with, know them and have a good idea of what the limitations would be, and even personalities if there would be problems in that area. We're able to go to the employer and find out exactly what it is that they need and then match the person. So my goal, at least, is to have a placement that's going to last long term, and that's in the long run is going to save the employer money because he's not going to be having a lot of turnover and having to pay advertising and going through all of that process. So that's a real advantage to them.
In all the cases I've been involved in, I think we got tremendous support from the supported employment part of it. I guess one of the best strengths, or the best part of that program as far as benefit went go, I think was the job coaching. You know, if there was a concern, it was about, geez, how much of a distraction is this going to be if there are special needs, and how much time is going to consume with the supervisor's time, who has all these other things that need to get done in addition to this new responsibility. And I think the job coaching yourself and the others allayed some of those fears, so that part of it went away, and just kind of knocked down some of those barriers.
If you're going to have somebody work for you like that and they got a brain injury, it's better to work with them to help them get their mind to where they're going to be able to do their job and just don't throw you in there and let you go. Like this place here, they'll throw you into a job and explain it to you and expect you to do it, but that's where the other employees come in handy to help you out learning your job.
I had to learn off of first I started here is janitorial. And the major thing I had to learn about is the pattern. Is like where the chairs go and how to move things around and where to start off, which area to sections and stuff like that. And you got to figure out how to use a mop, how to use a broom, how do you sweep the right way in a restaurant.
Employers often wonder if they need to make special accommodations for employees with disabilities.
When we were first setting up tasks for her, we would, we tried to work as if we would work with any employee and say, like, do the filing. And we found that with Brenda's brain injury, we had to be a lot more specific than that. We would have to say, take these groups of invoices and alphabetize them first, and then take them to the drawer and file them. And we found that the more specific we were, the more quickly that she was able to handle the job normally. The less specific we were, the more difficult it was for her and the more problems that we had.
I can't remember an expensive modification that we've had to do. We make modifications for all of our employees. I need an adjustable chair, I need a table so I don't have to reach here, and I can't think of a specific case where we've had to do a very expensive modification for anybody, so I guess that would bear out the facts that in the individuals we have had in supported employments and those employees that we placed with disabilities have not required expensive adaptations or modifications to the job.
Employees who work through supported employment programs receive compensation for work, build self-esteem, confidence, and independence, learn new skills, become valued members of the workforce.
I have been at this job now for a year and 4 months. And I still absolutely love coming to work every day that I work.
I'm a perfectionist. I like doing that. I figure it reflects on me when it goes out, and that person's going to look at who in the hell did this. So I don't want nobody to be saying nothing like that about me.
Because I believe right now that there are a lot of friends of mine that are disabled that are better at what they can. You just go out there and give them a chance. That's all I could ever ask for anybody, is to give people like me or anybody that's willing to need to get out of their chairs and go out there and do something for the future. Show their parents and show the governors, show everybody that they are somebody, you know, and that's the way I believe that I am somebody.
Supported employment means work in integrated settings for individuals with severe disabilities, for whom competitive employment has not traditionally occurred, for whom competitive employment has been interrupted or intermittent, for whom ongoing support services are needed.
If you as a personnel coordinator want to make the best decision, not just an acceptable decision, but the best decision, you should explore all your options, and this is one of the options to find a good, hard-working, steady, reliable, productive employee, and it should be considered. You get free job coaching. I mean, there's something to be said for that. There's actually less of a distraction because of the help that you can get with the agencies. And beyond that, not that it's an arm-twisting method, but ADA does require this sort of thing, and that should be considered just as a legal issue. But positively, it's a good thing to do. I mean, it's a public service, and beyond the public service, you can get yourself a good employee. And lastly, the thing that I think about, there are federal monies out there for things like supported employments, adaptations, access, as well as something like targeted job tax credits for deferring some of the expense in special cases like this. So I think there are numerous things that can be pointed out as an advantage.
I don't think it was ever as big of an issue as I made it, you know, in my head. I was real concerned about how much it was going to cost us, but within probably a couple months, I don't remember thinking about the cost aspect at all. More a matter of how can we best utilize Brenda's potential.
There were times when it did look a little expensive and sometimes not exactly what I would like it to be. But the fact that these people are so reliable and really have been not costly, it more than overcomes all of that.
We have several employees currently continuing their employment at Sun Mountain Sports that early on when they were first placed, they did have supported employment. So that period of the need for supported employment has gone away and they've continued their employment.
When we talk about what she's brought to the business, I can think of some of her qualities, like she is wonderfully precise. She makes almost no mistakes. But you know, you can hire that from other places too. The thing I like about Brenda is her personality. I think she brings her personality into the business, and that's what's fun about having her. And I could say the same thing about our other employees too. She's just one of us.
I think that we really need to get over the stereotypes of just what exactly is a disabled person, because unless as small children we are exposed to disabled persons. Most of us grow up thinking that we know exactly what a disabled person, especially a severely disabled person, like I am considered a severely disabled person, what a severely disabled person looks like, sounds like, acts like, talks like, smells like, feels like, and those are just all wrong, or mostly wrong, and so I guess I would like to encourage people to look past the disability and look to find out what the person is like.